Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make your own custom character from scratch, like so, and even putting them into Unreal Engine. I will not be teaching you guys how to make animations in this one, but I will in the next video, so stay tuned. And if you guys do not want to model your own character, I will be leaving a download description and a link to the description for a download of this model, so you can just skip to the next tutorial. But I do recommend learning how to make your own models if you do want to make your own games look more unique with your own models. But there's nothing wrong with using free assets, so you can do that as well. Anyways guys, let's get started. Guys, before we get started, I want to give out a huge thanks for 100 subscribers. It means so much. Please keep it up, and if you want to join the family, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be having so much more content soon, and you guys will be learning so much. And don't forget to Wishlist Care Legends. I know it's taking quite a bit to come out, but I'm taking the time to get good cover art for this game and making sure it's as polished as possible for you guys. And I know you guys are going to love it. Anyways, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is open Blender 4. And once that opens up, just wait a second. Alright, and it should be loading up. Okay, so just left click off the screen right here. Now, you guys should know the movement because I'll have a video teaching you the very basics of 3D modeling. If you have not watched that video, link to the video in the description. But remember, just move around with middle mouse. And if anything does not make sense, it should be explained in that video. But basically what I want to do in this video is teach you guys how to make your very own character to use so that you can put on an Unreal Engine, and then future videos will be giving animations and stuff, and you will have your own custom character in Unreal Engine, which is very exciting. So for this one, I'll just be making a simple robot. You can make whatever you want, but make sure to follow along with the type of things I do. So I'm going to go into front mode before I get started. And this cube right here, we'll just let it be our base, okay? Alright, so anyways, what we want to do is, we have this cube we're going to be using for the base. What I want to do is mirror it, so like split it in half, so that we can then use it to only have to model one half of the side, and that will be mirrored to the other side. So if I click on edit, and then go down to preferences, and then I bring this out and I go to add-ons right here. I need to search up auto mirror, okay? Right here, mesh auto mirror. If I click that, what it's gonna do is I can automatically mirror it. So if you click N on your keyboard, it will open up this little tab, or you can click on this little arrow right here, like so. But I like to do N, okay? Go down to edit. This will only be available if you added some add-ons, okay? So go down to edit. Since we added auto mirror, we have edit, and we can go to auto mirror, click the drop down. And then where it says on the x-axis, just click on the object you have selected, and then click auto mirror. And what that should do is, if I click tab, and I go into edit mode, as you can see, it has been cut in half, right here, like so. Mirrored on the right here, it says the x-axis, okay? So now it is mirrored in half, and we can start modeling with this, okay? So now we only have to model one side. And by the way, if I didn't teach you guys edit mode in the last video, I can't remember if I did. Edit mode basically lets us select each of the faces, vertices, and everything. So right here, we are on vertice mode. We can select a vertice and hold G to move it around. And the vertice is just a point on the model. Any type of vertice. Vertices make up any type of model. Right here is the edges. I can select an edge and move it with G, or whatever else you want to do with it. Or I can select the face, move it around, like so, okay? Now I'm gonna go onto front view with 1. And what I want to do is, with this base, I can really quick create some hips. I'll create the waist, and then from there I'll build up an upper body and a lower body. So if I click up here where we got the different views for, we got invisible, we got solid, and we got material right here. I want to go onto solid, but click this little toggle x-ray right here. This is x-ray mode, so we can select all the faces and everything behind it as well. So this is very useful. And what I want to do is just hold down S and bring your mouse in to scale it, like so. And then that's good right there. Click 1. and just hold G to move it up about right here. Doesn't really matter where. It's just depending on how high you want his hips to be up. Okay, so let's say I do something like right here. Okay. From here, what I can do is there's one really cool trick I want to teach you guys. It's called loop cutting. If I hold Control and then I hold R, it's going to add this loop. Okay, you have to hold it down the whole time. This yellow loop, wherever I hold it, I can move my mouse in to make it go up, and I can by scrolling my wheel I can add multiple of them. I just want to add one, so click right here, then left click, and then what I could do is hold G, but however I left click too late and now it's already there, so I can undo this. Control Z if you want to undo, hold Control R, and then let go, and then right away it needs to move it about right here. Just hold G and then X, move it in. And basically what that did is it added a loop of edges to our model. So it just kind of added one loop to our model. A little bit confusing, but just hold Control R and you can add loops like that. And from here, what we can do, if I click on one, what I can do now is I can go on vertice mode. And I can select all these vertices right here, this bottom one right here. And then going in front screen with one again, I can hold G and Z to move it on the Z axis, and I can move this up. Okay, G and Z, and I can move it up like so. And now what we got right here is a space to start making the legs. Okay, so if I click on 3 to go on face mode, select the bottom face. All right, now this is very cool tool I want to teach you guys called extrusion. So if you hold E is for extrude. Okay, so make sure to remember this. Okay, when you're extruding something, you're just pulling something out of it. So if I hold E and I move my mouse down, it adds geometry based off of that. So we click this face right here and we pulled out more of it by holding down E, and I can keep on adding stuff to it if I want. I'm gonna Control Z that, but just hold down E and move down your mouse to extrude. Don't worry if this stuff doesn't really make sense. This will make more sense later. It just takes a little bit to get used to Blender. Okay, and then I can go on front view again. What I could do now is if you hold R, I can rotate this in like so, make it more flat. Perfect. Go back to front view, then hold G and X to move it in. And as you can see right here, I have a bit of the upper thigh going on right here. I'm going to make this go down a little bit lower, so I'm going to hold G and Z like so. And then I can hold down E to extrude more. However, you're not just going to extrude the whole leg. What you want to do is extrude little bits for the knee. So one here, and one here. Now the reason for that is once you animate the model, when the knee is moving, you want to have more. The more geometry you have on the knee, the smoother it's going to be folding. All right. That's the whole reason we do that. So the more geometry you have on the knee, oh sorry about that, the more it's going to fold and the better it's going to animate instead of just snapping. Alright, so you want to add like 3 layers on the knee right here. Then from here I can hold E to extrude for the upper part of the calf, and I can scale this up a little bit if I want. Hold E again to extrude, and then I can hold S to scale this down again. I can hold G and Z and move this down a little bit. And then what we can do here is hold down E again. This would be for the foot, and just drop down here. That's a good length for the foot. And then off of this cube, this face right here, click on there, hold E again to extrude. Extruding is very important. And right there I have a foot. Now if I want to make the upper thigh longer than the calf, I can drag select this knee right here, all these layers, hold G and Z and move it down just a little bit more. And then if I Control R to add a loop cut, up here, just move it up here to the upper thigh, and then left click and just leave it there. I can hold S and I can scale up the thighs a little bit to make it more realistic, like so. So that is how you start extruding it. Okay. Now we got some basic legs right here. I know that was a little complicated. Hopefully you guys understood. If not, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible, but it can definitely be hard to do at times. But we do need to make the upper body now, okay? So holding 3 to go into face mode, I can select right here. And if you hold shift and select another face, that's going to be selecting both at the same time. That way you can select multiple faces. And then from here I can go in front mode. What I can just do is hold E to extrude right here. That'll be the lower part of the upper body. And then hold E again. Right here. Then hold E again. I'll just scale this up. And then hold E again. Like so. We have a very basic upper body going on. Now from here what I could do is, I feel like this upper body is a little bit too long for the lower body, so I can drag select. If I hold Alt, that is going to select a whole entire ring. If I want to select this little loop right here, I go to solid mode so it's easier to see. If I want to select this little loop right here around the thigh, if I hold Alt and left click, but I have to be on edge mode, okay? Hold Alt and left click. That's going to select that little loop, that little ring right there. However, it did not select the bottom one right here, so I have to hold shift and select this one. Now from here, if I go into front mode, I can hold G and Z to move this up a little bit, like so, and rotate this a little bit more. As you can see right here though, this part of the waist needs to go back up. Select that right there. Hold G and Z. There you go. And I can bring these thighs in right here, so select the edge right there, hold G and X, and bring it in, okay? Okay, so I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So G and Z, okay? Now we got something more realistic like right here, okay? Now we have an upper body and the legs, okay? The next step is I'm going to be creating the arms. So if I go back to face mode with 3, select this face right here, go to 1. If I hold E right here, I can just drag out, and then I can scale that in with S. And then hold E right here, just a little bit, scale that up with S, and then hold E right like so. Scale that down just a little bit. And then hold E again, scale that up, and then hold E again, and like so we can bring out some arms like this. Now this arm might look a little bit funny, but that's okay because I'm making a robot. Feel free to make your character look like whatever you want. So right here, let's pretend this is going to be like a little like a big gun thing right here, okay? We're gonna need a little crevice in the inside to do that, so I can click on 3, click this face right here. If I hold I is for inset, okay? And if I hold I and on the face I'm selected and I bring my mouse in, that's going to create a second version of the square, but at a different size. So I can hold it in to make it smaller or bring it out to make it bigger. I'll bring it in right here. And as you can see, I have an extra face inside of this face right here. And what I can now do with that is instead of extruding it outwards, I can hold E to extrude, but drag it inwards like so to make a little hole inside right there. And now we have something a little bit more complicated like this. Looking pretty cool so far. So that is the body so far. Next up we need the head, okay? If I select this face right here, we can easily create a neck, okay? I can hold E to extrude it. And then I can scale this on the Y so that it goes in more. But then obviously it needs to be wider, so if I go on edge mode with 2, select this edge right here, and then hold G and X to bring it out, like so. We got a more realistic neck. Go back to face mode and select this upper face right here. By the way, you can select these for the different face, edge, and point mode, or you can just do 1, 2, and 3. So 3 is for face mode. And what I want to do now is extrude off a face. So if I go back to front view with 1, hold E to extrude, and then I can just scale this up by holding the S, key, like so. We'll make him a little bit of a big head because that makes it a bit more cartoonic. But as you can see, it is very long. So what we want to do is hold S and then hold Y so that it only scales in the Y value, and I could just drag that in like so. Okay? And then from here we have the little base of a head. If I go to 1, I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. Okay? Good. If I hold E to extrude, I can bring up this bottom part right here. Hold E again. And then hold E again right here. As you can see, we got a little basic square head. Okay, that's the base to our head. I want to make this more of a human head shape, but it's still going to be robot. So what I could do is if I go into edge mode with 2, I can select the front edge right here, hold G and Y to bring it in, like so. I can add another loop cut at the top by holding Control R, and that's going to cut another loop up here, and I just left click and bring it down, like so. And then click this edge right here and bring it back out, so that creates a bit more of a crevice, makes it more realistic. Can bring this in, G and Y to bring it back. Okay. Same thing with this. I can do G and Y, but I'll keep it a little bit out actually. Okay. I want to bring these edges in, so G and then X for left and right, and then bring it in by moving in your mouse like this. Starting to look more like a face. Same thing here, I can do G and then X to bring it in. Perfect. And then this right here, I want to bring that in, G and then X. Sorry, no, that's not going to work. We need to bring it back and forth, so G and then Y. There you go. And I can bring out this neck right here. Click that, G and then Y. Okay, same with here. G and then Y. Okay. And we can bring out the side. Click the side right here. G and then X. Alright, sweet. So we got a basic head going on. If you want, you can click on 1 to go into vertices, and you can just microly adjust every single vertice. Just loosely mess around with it, make it fit the style you want. Okay, don't go too crazy, but you know, adjust things to the shape you want, like so. Okay, but I think this is enough for me for right now. I'll just keep this face how it looks currently. Okay, and if I go back to object mode, click this drop down, go back to object mode. As you can see, we have a basic base for character right here. Mine does not have hands, but you can add hands if you want. It's just a little bit harder to do. I'm going to go to front view, 1. And I want to bring him down to the center, because when we export him, we want him to be located down below. Because if you ever have your thing floating above, it's going to have the offset when you move it in Unreal. That'll make more sense later. But if I hold G and Z, just bring him down to floor level about right here. Good. Okay, so now we modeled our basic player. However, the next thing we want to do is texture him, okay? So as you can see, if we click on this little thing right here and we go into shading view, he does not have any color to him at all. However, we can easily do that if we go into shading mode right here. Okay. Now, there's better ways to shade our character, but for right now I'm going to keep it really simple, and we're just going to use the basic shading editor. So this is a material right here. I'm just going to call this gray because I'll give him a gray color. And then I already taught a bit of the shading material in the Blender video I made for beginners, but just right here is everything where you adjust your material. I can change this base color to like a darker gray, like so. That's pretty good. Okay. And because it's a bit of a robot, I'll make it a little bit more metallic maybe, and turn down the roughness just a little bit. Okay. Now what if you want to make certain parts of the model different colors? Like for example, I want this inner part to be a different color. Okay. This is very simple. Click on the object, go into tab, click tab to go into edit mode. I can go in face mode if I want with 3. Select this face right here, I want to change that color. If you go in slots, there's different slots for each material. I can add a new one by clicking the plus. Oh crap, I added too many. And I can assign that slot to this new face So now it's a different material for that specific face. Click new material, and I'll just make this about an orange right here. I'll just call this orange. I can give this a bit of an emissive tint to it if I want. Go to emission, make this a bit of an orange as well, and then turn up the strength. That's looking pretty good so far. Now, his gray body's looking pretty boring. We can add some things like a little visor for his head. Maybe some other designs on his body, okay? So, I can move around right here. There's this very cool tool you can do to cut out whatever type of shape you want on the model. It's just, you want to be careful with this because it could mess up the way your geometry moves when it animates. So you always want to be careful, but for now, let's keep it simple. If you use K, you hold down K, this is for the cut tool. You have a little knife right here. I click on a vertice, like for example right here, okay? I just drag out to another vertice, like right here. I can keep on dragging out. It's kind of like connect the dot. And I can click different spots. Sometimes it won't always turn out the way you want. And click enter, do Control Z. Click K again. Try this one more time. Then just drag out the shape I want. Like so. And I don't need to do the other side because it's mirrored already, okay? If I click enter, it's going to make all those vertices I did onto the model. So now I have this little shape. From here I can add a visor. If I click on 3, hold shift and left click, hold shift and left click both of these faces. I can assign it with a new slot, add a new material. I'll call this blue. And then I will give this a nice blue. Make sure that this slot though is assigned. Click assign. And then on the emission, I can add some emission. Give it that blue color again. And then turn up the strength just a little bit. Now this looks pretty good so far. If I go to vertice mode with 1, I want to bring this vertice up just a little bit. Hold G and Z. Okay. So now we got a basic visor. Like so. If I want to make this have a little bit more depth, I can click 3, click on these faces, shift select, and I can either hold E to move it in or move it out. I think I will move it out a little bit. Now the only problem with that is I need to make these other faces behind it a blue. Instead of selecting all of those, I can just select the front, and if you hold Control and then click plus on your keyboard, that will select all the faces connected to it, like so. And then I can just assign all of that to this variable of this material right here. And as you see, we have a very simple visor. Now it's a little bit creased in, so what I can do is hold 2, select this middle edge right here, and hold G and Y to push that out a little bit, and push out these edges right here. Go to 1, move this out with G and Y. Okay. Overall, this is pretty decent so far. Okay. Now I can add some more uniqueness to this guy, and this is kind of where you can go crazy and mess around with the design a little bit. I can add some loop cuts. Okay. For example, I can add one right here. Control R. If I scroll my wheel twice, that will add 2 loop cuts. Okay. And then with all this selected, I can assign it to that blue material. And let's say I want to extrude that inwards just a little bit, like so. If there's anywhere else I want to do, like let's say on the wrists or right here, okay? And do Control R, add loop cuts wherever I want. I can assign that material, and then E to extrude that inwards. Sorry, E. So if you hold E, okay, let me undo that. Hold E and S, you can extrude it inwards, like so. Alright, it's looking pretty good so far. And because this part is orange, I might as well add that orange material. That makes a little bit more sense. Just go a little bit crazy with the design here. You can even use your K tool to add some designs. For example, my main character on my RPG, I gave him a dragon tattoo. I did that with the K tool for the knife tool. So I can add like a little design pattern on the side. If I hold K, I can go crazy and add vertices wherever I want. Like here. Add a little basic design that will make the character have a little bit more depth to him. And then I can assign that, like so. And then I can go back to face mode if I want. Select these vertices, shift select, these faces, sorry. Hold E and S, extrude it inwards just a little bit. And then control plus, and assign that with this blue material. Okay, so I'd say the robot's looking pretty good so far. I don't think there's too much we need to add to him. If you want, we can adjust the size of things. I can go and alt select his waist, for example, and make it bigger and stuff, and I can make him more muscly if I want to. But for now, I just want to keep this very simple, so I'm just going to keep this 3D model how it is right now. If I go into layout mode, go tab, and I select this 3D model right here. If I want to export this model, what I can do now is with this model selected, go to File, and then click Export. Right here, click FBX. And then you need to copy all the settings I do. I'm going to take them to my downloads. You can take them whatever you want. I'm just going to call this guy Robot. Okay. And then I can limit it to the selected object I have and set it as a mesh. Untick bake animations because we don't have any animations we're exporting right now. And untick under armature, untick add leaf bones. Click on geometry. Where it says normals only, change this to face. And one thing we need to do before we even export the model is we cannot export it with this mirrored attribute connected to it. We need to get rid of that so that it can be exported as one object. Okay. If I select this on my details panel, go down to this little wrench where it has modifiers, and I hold Control A over this right here and select it, it's going to get rid of that modifier. And as you can see, if I go into edit mode, it's going to be one model. Alright. What I can do now is from here I have my own model. I can go back into where I was exporting it, right here. And then I can just click Export FBX when I have everything set to what I need. Okay. And now there's this cool thing we need to do where we need to rig it so that basically we gave it a skeleton so it can animate. Now we'll be getting the animations for that in a future video, but search up Mixamo. It's a free website that gives you really cool animations. You might have to sign in. I'll just log in really quick. Alright, so for me I already have a model in here, but by default if you go to characters on top here, you can choose any model you want. Click use this character for example. However, we want to upload our own characters, so on here, go down to upload character, select the character file, and find the file of your model that you exported. Mine's called Robot. And if all is well, it should export into here, right here. Make sure it's facing the correct way, so if it's like right here, you can click these arrows to make it face the correct way. Like so. Let me just put that back. Just rotate this back here. Okay. Click on next. And one thing you'll notice is the colors might look a little bit off. That's okay. That's normal for on Mixamo, but don't worry. Basically, before we rig it or add a skeleton to it, it wants to know where all the joints are and everything. So click on this chin, and you need to put it where the chin is. Pretty straightforward. Same with the wrists, put it to where the wrists are. Same with the elbows. Same with the knees. Right here about, I'm pretty sure. And same with the groin, about right there. Move these knees a little bit down because that's where we modeled the knees to be. And if I click next, it's going to take a little bit to rig up. And for you, it could take less, it could take longer. It kind of depends on the character or the model, depending how complicated the model is and your internet speed. Usually for me, it does take a little bit, but as you can see right here, it is now uploaded. And it might animate a little bit goofy, but for the most part, this seems to work pretty fine. You can see it automatically is rigged with animations. So I'll click next. Next. Now, for this video, I'm keeping it very simple. We're not going to add animations yet. So we'll just be stuck with this T-pose. Click download, and download again. And now if you go onto your Unreal Engine project, we can add this character to our game. So if I go to content, I'm going to put him in the third person. Right here, underneath blueprints. Make a new folder, and I'll just call this mesh. And then click this mesh right here on your file. Export the new model you have. Mine should be called Robot 1 because it is the one from Mixamo. Just drag that in. And then everything here, just leave by default. No skeleton should be assigned because it hasn't made one yet. Make sure skeletal mesh is true and import mesh is true. Alright. And then click import all. And if I click on this little pink file right here, that is for a skeletal mesh. Double click it. As you can see, our model is imported. Now, our emissiveness is gone. We have to remake that in Unreal Engine, but we can easily do that. If we go into asset details, we have all our materials right here. So if we want to add an emissive material, it's very easy. Just select the orange, for example. I can open up that material right here. And what we want to do is affect this emissive color right here. So it needs a color and a number value for how emissive it is. However, you might be thinking, how do we put both of those things into here? We're going to be using a multiplied node. So if I drag out right here, and drag it on multiply, and basically the color multiplied by the amount of value we have, the more emissive it's going to be. So if I hold down 1 for a constant, I just drag this into B, and I could set this to like 1 for example, and then drag this into emissive color. As you can see, it's a bit more emissive. I can raise this value a little bit more, like so. Make it even more emissive. And this is pretty good right here, about 7. If I click save, if I go back to my robot, as you can see, it has a nice emissive color right here. Now if I want to do that for the blue, it's the exact same thing. So browse to the blue, open that up, and then just drag it and multiply. Hold down 1 for a constant, drag this in here, set this to a 7.5, and then bring this into a emissive color like so. And there you go. I'll click save. And as you can see now, let's save a little bit. We have it in the robot. We have nice emissive colors. Now, when I was making this video earlier, I did not show you guys how to do this, so it might you might see me not have this later in the video, but don't worry, that doesn't mean anything. If you guys want easy emissive materials, that's how you do it. Anyways, let's continue where we left off. So now that we got our model, the next step is to put it into our character, and then from there I'll finish the video for now. Alright. So if I go back to my third person, under my blueprints, my third person character, now go to viewport and select your model right here. Whatever your model might look different, that's okay. Right here is the skeletal mesh, click that down, and then search for your model. Mine's called Robot. As you can see, he's too big for the capsule, so I'm going to scale him down with the scale tool. Like so. That fits actually quite perfectly, okay? Now we don't have any animations yet, so if I compile and save and I click play, as you can see, he's just T-posing. However, in the next video, we'll start adding animations to our game. So now, I know this tutorial was a little bit more complicated than my other ones. I hope it was still easy for you guys to understand. And if you like the videos, please let me know and subscribe. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.